Good morning, YouTube. Hopefully you can hear me over the rain. I'm in a block garage with a tin roof and there ain't no insulation, so it's what it is. Continuing on with the fun trash can sled trailer thing. I don't know what it is. So I did some off-camera work and made my mounting plates, and then getting ready to start cutting the rod to length, welding them to the plates, and I guess I need to dig out some stuff to do a trailer arm, a connection arm. Probably going to use a old gate hinge, one of those triangular ones. They're like 16th gauge steel. Be careful, a lot of them are galvanized, so make sure you grind the galvanized coating off, because God knows we don't want people to die. I feel like everybody has to say that in every video. Just, you know, be smart about things, people. And if you're gonna just grind through the galvanizing, like I probably will, turn a fan on, have some ventilation, don't stick your face in the fumes. No, just don't do it. Just grind the damn shit off. Anyway, let's see what I got. All right, move some stuff around because leaky floor. Didn't really want to stand under that. I got to get the roof in here fixed. If you want to donate to my cause, feel free. I think it's probably going to end up being roof in a can when it comes down to it this spring. Anyway, these are the plates I made. No, they are not even. Every single piece of this was a random piece, roughly the same width strip that was in my scrap junk, too short to keep on the metal rack pile box thing. I got these two metal cans in there, these ammo cans. One's got like brackety stuff. Some of it is actually brackets, but brackety shaped things. And then on the other side, I've got one that's just triangles and plates and strips and stuff. Anyway. So I drilled my holes yesterday. They're 3/8 holes. I'm going to use 3/8 lag bolts coming in to hold them in. I figure between the 5/8 rod and the lag bolts. So the rod is going to pass through the 4x4, then the lag bolts are going to go into the 4x4, and then the tire is going to be on the outside of the 4x4. Hopefully that made sense. If you need a visual aid, wait till later when I get to that point, and you'll have your visual aid. So what I might end up doing is kind of roughly sort of centering these. Drill maybe a 1/4 or a 3/16 hole, or not 3/16, a 1/4 or 5/16 hole in here. And then when I center the stud up on it, I can plug weld it from the backside and then do a stitch weld all the way around. And these are mostly just to keep the rod from backing out. This is not holding load. The holding load should all be supported by the 3.5 inches of 4x4 that's going to be sitting in here. And the tire will go to the outside again. In theory, that should work. That should do the trick. Now, in practice, it's probably going to not do the trick at all, and it's going to break. It's just the way it is. I know I've mentioned this thing before, but if you guys are in a small shop or have limited space for like permanent mounted tools and you don't have a permanent mounted bandsaw or anything like that, man, this thing, it folds up nice and it does great for cutting rods. It's a little finicky. This is a clutch, so obviously quality with a K. And it is a little finicky to get everything centered, to get the blade straight and stuff like that. It's not as straightforward as a traditional metal chop saw or even a bandsaw. But once you do get that set up, it's very easy to maintain that 90 degree on there. It's also super easy to get angled cuts this way and that way. Not only with so I guess like a compound. It would be like a compound miter saw. Yeah, I'm rambling. So you get the idea. This is what we're doing today. I don't think I'm taking a lot of footage of it. I mean, everybody likes watching people weld, I guess, on TV. It's the thing. It's like pressure washing. I don't know why everybody wants to watch somebody weld unless you're learning how to weld. Like you're watching a tutorial that is, I'm good, do what I'm doing. Why do you want to watch people weld? Because most people that weld aren't good. I mean, they're okay. They get the job done, but you know, not everybody is a professional welder. Most people, they just glue metal together. That's all they're doing. Anyway, ramble. Kind of hopped up on smoke. getting the old stove going this morning. Also, why we're working over here, because it's in close proximity to the stove, and the stove is warm. So let's see if I can't electrocute myself or light myself on fire, and we'll go from that point. Alright, before I get over and show you the parts, I want to show you this. I'm pretty sure I've talked about this before. This is a rethreading kit as opposed to a tap and die kit. This one's from Lawson. I have no idea who made it for them, but it does say made in the USA. Maybe it's only the box. I don't know. I've had good luck with it over the years. It's nice. Does most of your basic metric, standard, coarse, and fine, and then it comes with 2 thread files. Now, this is something I might do. I've been thinking about it since I was looking at it. I like talking about tools. I like knowing about tools. I ran a tool room for a long time. And there are significant differences between rethreading kits and tap and dies. And there's a lot of instances where you want one of these versus a tap or a die. And so maybe that's what I'll do, is I'm always trying to come up with ideas for videos. I can't always create, you know. It takes a lot of time, effort, funding, things like that. Even this. So this is all gathered from my scrap pile. We'll go over this in a minute. It does. It takes a lot of time, effort, and funding. So maybe since I'm not like, you know, independently wealthy, I wasn't born into, you know, the Murdoch family, or I don't know. Is he still rich? Murdoch go to prison? I have no idea. Find rich person name and insert it. I have no idea who's rich and who's not. So, what we did, I did end up drilling a center hole. I believe it's 27/64. Basically, I cut the rod down, tapered the end. It's not going to focus, sorry. And I made it so that it's just enough. I can still get a good bead all the way around it. But then on the bottom side, when I plug weld, it's not flush with the bottom of the plate. It's actually recessed in a little bit, not much. I didn't measure it. Eyeball gauge, it's less than 1/16 of an inch, but that's fine. I've got this Fam Dancy Stanley exterior hinge. I'll weld the pipe to this side. Found a piece of 1/2-inch black iron just laying around, or nodular iron, or gray iron, or whatever the hell it's made out of these days. It's like water, oil, gas line piping. Schedule 40? This might be Schedule 80. I don't know. We used to have stuff like this laying around all the time. Let's see, do I still have the schedule still on here? It's got It doesn't matter. It's a piece of scrap, and it's way overkill for this. Another piece of scrap I found in my bin. It is even pre-angled. You might not be able to tell, but it dips down right here. That hole looked fairly center on the plate. So I'll weld up the tubing just past these 2 holes in this direction. Again, this is a trash can hauler. It's just getting toted around by an overgrown lawnmower. I shouldn't insult my lovely garden tractor that way. It's getting toted around by an overgrown lawnmower. And yeah, that's what it's going to be. I did have a couple cans of white paint left over. And since... Don't focus on my finger. It will. It'll focus. Over there, there's a gallon of household paint. The previous owners left it. It's just, I think it's bright white or standard white or something like that. But it's just untinted white latex paint. That's what everything's going to get painted with. I will actually give this a few days to dry. If it doesn't stop raining, it rained Friday, and there were only small chances of rain. Like yesterday and today, and it pretty much started raining around 5 o'clock last night and hasn't stopped since. It's been pretty steady, not heavy, but steady. That's I'm going to have to bring it in the garage and let it dry. I don't know. But, yeah, for right now, we need to weld some stuff up, and then we need to paint some stuff up, and then I guess I'm going to be done for the day. All right. Well, here's a good reminder. Always pay attention to how you set your gun down. I thought that I had it not on the trigger. That's from this side. I would slide it in, and the trigger doesn't hit. I was on the other side, and I slid it in. I completely forgot about that piece there, and it just kind of laid on the trigger. Nothing arced or anything like that. It just fed out, you know, half a mile of wire. Fun times. Remember, folks, pay attention. Accidents happen. All right, and we started getting some white paint on it. Obviously, you know, this stuff will have to be flipped over, and this is just the first coat. It's cold. The paint's old. We bought it last year to do some stuff, and it's just leftovers from that. The welds are pretty ugly. I'm not going to lie. I didn't put a lot of effort and anything into it. I needed it to stick together. This isn't structural. This is a get the job done kind of project. It's not like I'm building chassis right now. You know, it's schedule 40 black iron and some generic all thread that I got at the local hardware store. So I'm positive it's Chinesium grade 5. But yeah, you know, it's coming together. Everything's in. Some of the plates warped, and that's to be expected when you're welding, you know, extremely thick to thin. Always start on the thick side and work that way, and you heat and drag the pool over. But, you know, I'm not perfect. And before anybody jumps my case, hold on, let's do this over. Oh, that was terrible. Oh, that's no better either. Let's see if I can practice, like, quality. Jesus. Okay, when you need a lot of light, it's just the way it is. So, earlier I made the comment, you know, most people are not welders, they just glue metal together. That's an expression I picked up at my previous employment because they hired a lot of different types of welders, and the guys weren't necessarily used to doing the projects that they were doing. You had a background in welding. It didn't matter if you were a nuke welder. It didn't matter if you were an underwater welder. It didn't matter if you were a pipe welder. It didn't matter if you were a precision TIG welder or a stick welder, or none of that mattered because your resume said that you were a welder, and they hired you and they shoved you in a position. So we had a lot of guys that it was tricky. That was a lot of rambling. So the point of the statement, though, is yes, a lot of people are able to weld. The machines are affordable these days. There's plenty of training online. There's plenty of training locally and things like that. And there's always the guys that pick it up on their own. If everybody was like professional grade, like serious, straight up professional grade, like you see on the TV shows, or let's say you work in the trades and you know you've got that guy that's been doing it for the last 800 years and can do it blindfolded backwards, upside down, with any type of material, that you know the people I'm talking about. That's skill, and that's training, and that's practice and practice and practice. And if everyone had that skill and was at that level, well, number one, welders wouldn't get paid as much as they do, and wouldn't be, I guess, coveted amongst the trades in the way in which they are. So I'm not belittling anybody. I think you should go out and do the best you can. I think you should strive to do better. I think you should always practice and train. And if you're like me, I need to be able to weld to make little brackets and patch things and do stuff like that. But if I'm doing anything serious, I'm gonna farm it out to a guy that's capable, that is professional. You know, I specialized in what I specialized in. I am really good, or at least I was when I was a practicing mechanic. I was really good at driveline work. That's what I was interested in. I liked transmissions, transfer cases, and axles. I didn't mind rebuilding engines, but that's what I liked, and that's kind of what I specialized in. That's what I would gravitate for jobs and things of that nature. So I'm not belittling anybody when I say most people just glue metal together, but have a genuine understanding of what your skill level is and where you're trying to go with any task. I'm not trying to be a master fabricator, master welder, anything like that. I need enough to do my little projects. I can make some brackets, I can weld some stuff together, I can patch frames if I needed to, build a bumper, stuff like that. Sorry, I'm holding the camera, so it's really jacked up. I didn't plan on this going into a tirade. Might end up editing this out. I don't know. Anyway, this is all I'm doing today because it's still raining, and so I can't get outside. And if I could get outside, it doesn't matter because it's been raining all night and daggum wood frame is soaking wet. That's not when you want to start drilling holes or doing anything like that. So get out, have fun, practice the stuff you want to practice at. Practice makes perfect. Get better at the stuff you want to get better at. Know your skill level, know your limitations, know when it's time to farm it out, when it's time to do it yourself, and have fun with it. You know, it's a freaking hobby. Do what you got. Well, hell, I mean, even for some of us, it's a job. If you're not enjoying it, it sucks. It drags it out of you. Even if it's something you truly love, if you get to a point where you're just not enjoying it, it's terrible. Don't get to that point. So get out there, go have fun, do something you like. See you next time.